So inspecting this website for bugs and vulnerabilities, we find this little search bar right here. So if we're to just type anything in here like orange, what the search bar does is that it looks through the loaded entries and it filters for them, right? So if we were to say pineapple, there's no pineapple there, I guess. Let's do apple. There's the apple juice, the apple pommes. Okay, so that's basically what the search bar is doing. Here's all the products, and it's loading them, and there's multiple pages. Cool. So we know that. So we know that if there is a search bar, something like that, we can enter strange characters to see if it's vulnerable to SQL injection. We want to see how the application handles it. So we know that one of those characters is a single quote. So if we enter this here, it seems to some reason give us an entry. And I'm not sure why it returns this. That's interesting. But what's even more interesting is that it's not giving us an error. So let's see if we do that. Okay, let's see if we enter something like test. So it's not really letting us do much as the results are just, it looks like it's just filtering through. So we still shouldn't give up on this, right? We want to determine what page is this and see if we can load it some other way or interact with it some other way. So right away I can see here in the URL that there is this is the search function page that is loaded, and look at it enters the variable that we were looking for in the search bar, and then it tries to load it. Okay, so one of the things we want to do then is let's open up our debugger or our developer tools. Let's reload this page. So what this is showing, you notice that we have the network tab open, network monitor. And what it's showing you is the HTTP request. So it's a GET request, so it's pulling from the server. And this is the server it's pulling from, and it's pulling several files. So this is the root, or this is the home page. Then it's pulling all of these other objects. We see that these are JavaScript objects, JSON, and some other stuff in here. This looks interesting, who am I? But we'll skip it. Okay, so really what we're searching for is this search right here. And actually it's right here, okay? Another way we can do it is that we can just look for the search, and this is the request to pull this search functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click this, and notice that it takes us to this page. But there's a difference here, because notice that, yeah, sure, it has pulled the search $Q equals, kind of like it did here. But notice that here it's giving us this /rest/products, which doesn't exist here in this page. So it seems that this may be part of the API, and that here we may be able to interact with it differently than it did here. So we can test that, right? All of these things are just theory. So what if we do the funny characters, single quote? It gives us success, which, okay, you wouldn't expect that. What if we close the query there? And now we get an error. Okay, cool. So now we get a 500, which is in HTML or in the web, it's an error request, right? 200 would be an authorized request, etc. So 500, it's giving us a SQLized database error, and there's a SQLite error near this. So the error is around the semicolon syntax error. So if you were to Google that, which would be the next step, then you'll find blogs and other things like that where they're talking about, well, perhaps what it's missing is parentheses at the end. So that's what we're going to try to do. So we would put it before the semicolon because the semicolon finishes the statement. So we can do one parentheses, and we still get the same error. Okay. We can do another parentheses. And now we get something. Okay, this is cool. Status success. And then look at the data that it's giving you. Okay, one is apple juice, orange juice, egg fruit, raspberry. It seems to be the same things we see here. Egg fruit juice and all of that. But let's keep on going because there is something interesting here. We just need to get to it. And that is this right here, the Christmas Super Surprise Box 2014 edition. So if we go to the normal page and we look for Christmas, notice that we have no results found. What does this mean? Well, it means that we have entered certain characters that has pulled data out of the database that we shouldn't be seeing. And this is part of that data. So this data is stored, but it shouldn't be displayed or called out in the current website. So we're seeing information that we're not really authorized to see. You get my drift? Okay, so there is an item here in the products table, right? Which is called the Christmas Super Surprise Box 2014 edition. It's $29.99. It contains a random selection of 10 bottles of our tastiest juices and a fan shirt at an unbeatable price. Seasonal special offer only. Limited availability. Cool. So maybe what's going on here is that they have ran out or it's no longer 2014, so you can't order it. Nevertheless, we're not supposed to see it. So now the next thing is, okay, we're able to see it, but are we able to do something more impactful, right? So this right here would already be a finding in our pentest report, and we would put, hey, we were able to see data that we shouldn't, and that is a breach of confidentiality, right? So if we think about the CIA triad or the triangle, it's confidentiality, then it's integrity, then it's availability. Right now, we've been able to break confidentiality. Okay, what else can we break? So, or what else can we test for? That's the correct question. So let's go back. And if we weren't supposed to see that, really what we want to do then is order it, right? We want to see if we can order this. Okay. But to order, we would have to log in. So, luckily, I'm already an account, but for sakes of this, I'm going to log out. Okay, so we're going to go to account, we're going to go to login. We don't have an account yet, so we're just going to create one. So email is going to be test1@yahoo.com, test123, test123. Sure, test. This is a test account, so we don't care, right? It's like, okay, great. All right, now let's log in. Test1@yahoo.com. Test1@yahoo.com. Oh, I'm sorry. It's test123. And we're in. Fantastic. So what we're going to do is we just want to put like one of these in our cart, right? So if I can go here, I can do add basket. It's been put into the basket, and we go check it. It's in here. What if we're able to put this Christmas special in our basket? How would we do that? Well, it's not available here, right? So how are we able to do that? Well, it's not in the front end, but it is in the back end. So how do we defeat that? Well, by going in the middle of the two. So we set up a proxy server. So the proxy server is going to allow us to be in between the front end UI that we see right now and the back server, and we'll be able to play with it and then send the request to the backend server. So if we want to use a proxy, the most popular one is Burp Suite. So we start up Burp Suite. I've already got it here, and we go to proxy, and what we really want to do is intercept is on. We want to turn intercept on. So let's go back here. What we also need is Foxy Proxy. So we're going to turn this on, and this is going to direct requests to, it's going to direct this to the proxy instead of the backend server where it would normally go. Okay, so we're going to turn this on and turn this on, and what we're going to do is we're going to add something to our basket. So the first thing that it catches is this get rest basket 7. It looks interesting, but this is a get request, and remember that a get request pulls data. So this might not be the one that we're looking for, so we're just going to forward this. Okay, here's an interesting one. This is a post, meaning the get gets data from the server, a post sends or enters data into the server. So if we're adding something to our basket, really what we're doing is that we're posting something. So this might be it. Notice that it's post and then it's API and it's basket items. Okay, so this might be it. So if we keep on looking here in the body of the request, right? These are the headers. We see, can I make this bigger for you guys? No, I can't. Okay, well, here we see that it's like product ID is 6, basket ID is 7, and quantity 1. Okay, so what if we're able to change the product ID to the product ID of the Christmas special, and then we send that request? Will it add it to our basket? But first, we need to know what is the product ID for the Christmas special. And here it is. ID is 10. Fantastic. Here we have that the product ID is 6. So what is 6? 6 is the banana juice, which is what we put into our basket, right? I think that's what we clicked on. Okay, perfect. So what if we change this to 10? Okay, but we're not going to send it here. What we're going to do is that we're going to right click this. We're going to send it to repeater. Notice that this highlights in orange. And then here we already made the change. This allows us to send the same request over and over again. We can change different variables here. So if we do a send here, we get an HTTP 200 OK, which is great news, status success, and it tells us that the product ID that was added was 10. The basket ID, which is my basket, is the number 7, and then quantity is 1. Okay, cool. So I guess let's go here and remove this proxy and see if, and it was added. That is cool. That is cool. So now we have an apple juice and this, and we can just check out and get our Christmas special, which was not in the front face UI of the website. And you can see why this is problematic for the owner of the website, because somebody could see past items, they could add it to their cart, they could buy it, and the company would not be able to fulfill that request. They can add complaints, etc., right? Who knows? It sounds kind of dumb, like who would do that? But I mean, people do much worse and much foolish stuff. So nevertheless, right, what's important here is that we were able to see something that we weren't supposed to see, and that's a breach of confidentiality. And then we were able to not really change the data and affect the integrity, but we were able to impact their operations by ordering something that they no longer have and they cannot fulfill, right? Creating some sort of amount of chaos in the company, right? So that's that. So since we're around the Christmas holiday season, we solved this request. So I hope that this adds to your arsenal, to your toolbox, and I'll see you next time. Bye.